Welcome to part 2 of our class when we're really breaking down online teaching and what it should look like. Once again, I want to thank the KIS model by Allison Yang. This is copywritten material that we're utilizing from the Creative Commons attribution group. And we want to thank her very much for what she's created as we're utilizing this material to focus on our learning for today. Now, this PDF is already in your assignment in the files, so you can read along with me. Before we do anything, I want to go ahead and highlight one more time the vocabulary. We already talked about the vocabulary on yesterday, so we go into our reading and we actually highlight synchronous, asynchronous, explicit, vague, specify, empathetic, consistently, feedback, boost, and retention. This is us utilizing our vocabulary so we know exactly where it is and how to utilize it. As well as we're going to understand that this is broken down into 2 pieces with this infographic. There's a do this piece, which is our thumbs up in our blue, and a not that piece, which is our thumbs down, and it's red. Boop, 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 asking you to stop and think twice, just like our red light or our red stop sign. So when we break these down, we have asynchronous learning. Teachers create learning experience for students to work at their own pace and take time to absorb content. So what that means is that we're providing a sample of work here, and it's not necessarily timed, nor is it accessed at the same level. It means that this work, even though it's right here, it's available to help students in a variety of different ways. Synchronous, if we remember our vocabulary word, is synchronized swimming. That means everything is exactly the same. So we can put here same and the ability for it to be varied. And that's the difference with the learning tool, and that's one of the things we want to focus on, is that we're creating a model where students are able to go back, re-record, re-listen, and do things at their own pace, and they're able to utilize their own time to create and understand and absorb content. We have to understand that less now in this digital age is actually more versus being unrealistic. See, assignments are likely to take twice as long to complete at home because of different factors. We must, as teachers, prioritize and become realistic in those expectations. So whatever we do give, we have to understand that they're not necessarily in the model that they were in before, and we have to be realistic about our expectations, and we don't have to give as many questions versus the type of questions that we're giving. Our next place we want to look at is explicit, direct instructions that tell exactly what to do. A situation where if we're talking about something, we would say step 1, complete this. Step 2, complete that. Step 3. We want to turn around and give an idea of every single expectation so our students are able to get it correctly. If we are unclear and vague, we can communicate in lengthy paragraphs with instructions that may be difficult to follow or tasks that are overly vague, which causes confusion. We also want to specify expectations. Expectations is our goal. What do we want? Specify task requirements and list it clearly. That should be about a 2-minute auto recording with a bulleted checklist. So it tells you exactly what you want to happen. That way it's easy to go back and look. If you are too open-minded, like a maze, you assign tasks that are too open-ended. Hence, make a video about the moon, write an essay about pollution, or analyze the following. Those type of things are just very, very robust. It's nice to say in a project base, but right now we're still outlining our expectations. Be empathetic. Yes, have a heart. Assign a reasonable workload, and you want to always encourage students to balance online with offline and to connect with each other. One thing is, in this new model that we have, being at home, we have to make sure that we're making this opportunity of learning very, very realistic. They're not in a classroom, so if we try to treat them like they're in a classroom, assigning online classwork followed by extra homework without a clear focus on student well-being, we're really not building the whole student. And one thing we're trying to work is students holistically. We want to make sure that we're catering to the whole student, and in our case, the whole family. Communicate consistently. All instructions and assignments must be communicated via our online hub. So we're talking about Schoology in our case and doing what we have to do. Be online for office hours, which we've already talked for ourselves is 6 hours. Being available and knowing that right then is when you do support, answer questions, or clarify confusion. And we want to let everyone know that we have a system. A system is fair, it's just, and able to be done. If we are available 24/7, once again, we're responding to every email right away. We leave no break for ourselves, and we become a little grouchy and sad sometimes. So we have to make sure that we're balancing our needs as well as our student needs by making sure we have office hours and we're available. Seek student feedback. We want to seek feedback about their workload, emotional state, learning preferences, and learning pace. We care about the whole student, and we want to make sure that's always available for information. We're going to go to this last page. Boost learning retention. We want to help them remember the important things. So we create multimedia materials to boost learning retention and use digital tools to create interactive lessons. And that is one of our priority checks, which we're learning and doing now in our classrooms. We always want to identify lesson objectives and be intentional and identify clear learning objectives and assessment outcomes. Because everything that we do has a purpose. And we remember that in everything that happens. So when we look at this and we're looking at your reading material for today, we're breaking this information down. For your assignment, you're going to have a couple of questions that you're going to answer, and I really want to see what you're doing in that. I will have a rubric available so you can know how I am going to grade your questions. Grade your answers. Thank you so much, and I will see you later.